Did you know that you can buy Apple iPhone 15 Pro for $60? To know about this exclusive offer and to subscribe to our channel for the latest offers like this. First of all, let's talk about this latest launch and the exclusive features of the product. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channels.
I've been using the iPhone 15 Pro for a while now, and I have questions. On paper, this looks like the best iPhone to buy this year, but when I'm actually using it, I'm not sure. Buying this phone might be a mistake, so watch this video to make the right purchase. To me, the improved design and ergonomics are probably the second most important change, and as you know from my videos about 14 Pro, I'm not a fan of sharp edges. I like when the phone complements the hand and fits it. With the 14 Pro, I always had to use a leather case to avoid those sharp edges. With the 15 Pro, I can finally use the phone as is because the rounded edges make it more comfortable to hold. Of course, from what I see, it's still not as comfortable as the iPhone 11 Pro used to be, but it's better than 14 Pro. I would, however, like it to be even more ergonomic to seal the deal for me, but I'm sure I will get used to this new design quickly. What I also like is the new titanium. Titanium is a big deal and a significant change. Since the iPhone 10 and 2017, iPhones have used surgical steel for the frame. Steel is heavy, shiny, accumulates fingerprints, and scratches easily. Titanium, on the other hand, is much lighter, more scratch resistant, and feels solid. Previous iPhones felt like fashion accessories. This titanium looks different and gives a more professional vibe to me. I'd also like to mention this new color, natural titanium, is stunning. It's an unusual color but strikes the right balance of uniqueness. It's odd enough to make you wonder, do I really like it? And it's appealing enough to always answer, yes, I do. Complementing the new titanium is the back glass, which now has a subtle satin finish. It's not like the matte color on older iPhones. It feels deeper and multi-layered. This is especially visible at the camera area, which is glossy and noticeably darker than the rest of the back glass. This satin finish seems to hover above the darker color. I like that. What I'm also noticing about this natural titanium color is how different this color can be in different lighting. In some cases, it leans more to light gray, and in some, more towards warm coffee-like tone. I'd say this color is definitely the one to look at. I also noticed a very peculiar thing. The glass looks as if it was under the titanium frame. It's a really interesting effect that might actually have a negative impact. You see, if we look at crash tests on YouTube, we'll see that the back glass is quite easy to crack. So to me, it seems like this choice to make the glass more rounded and possibly thinner near the frame made it more prone to cracks. It's just my guess, however. If I turn the phone around, you will see the second change that I was really excited about, the thin display bezels. The display size stayed exactly the same, 6.1 inches. Even the resolution is exactly the same as in the 14 Pro, but with these slimmer bezels, Apple managed to make the phone slightly smaller. And a smaller phone in this case means two things. One, it is more comfortable in hand, and two, that display looks even more impressive. Without changing the size, the display really feels bigger. It just physically takes up more space because the phone got smaller. Sadly, the dynamic island didn't get any size shrinkage. It is still the same exact size as the 14 Pro, and just as I predicted, it looks a bit off to me. It just doesn't click that such narrow bezels and a big cutout are parts of one phone. I think it would have been better if the dynamic island was a tad bit smaller, but Apple obviously decided to leave this change for the next year. I also hope that the durability of the glass, both the front and on the back, has improved because my iPhone 14 Pro got pretty scratched up, despite me being really gentle about it. Since I have already mentioned the action button, let's talk about that. When I first got the phone, the action button was set as a mute switch, but if I go to settings for the action button, I can change that to focus mode, camera, flashlight, voice memos, magnifier, shortcuts, or some accessibility stuff. I can even make it to launch shortcuts if needed. As of right now, I'm a bit lost in these features since I'm quite used to launching the camera from the lock screen, and it's the same story with the flashlight. Also, I rarely use voice memos, never use magnifier or accessibilities, but since I take a lot of videos and photos, setting up to launch the camera is surely the right choice for me. Initially, I thought that it wouldn't be that convenient to press and hold. But after a few minutes, it started to grow on me, and now I'm a fan of it. Launching a camera and starting recording is now super fast, and I know that when a memorable moment comes, I won't miss it. I'm more sure, however, about the cameras. When I'm saying sure, I mean that I'm sure about the capabilities of the cameras. Yet, I have some questions too. As for the camera specs, for all three cameras, they stay exactly the same as on the 14 Pro. I think Apple didn't even try to change the cameras themselves. They might even be interchangeable. Let's examine the main 48 megapixel camera. To me, it appears to be the most intriguing addition to the standard iPhone 15 Pro's camera. For the brief photo testing I've conducted, I can say the enhanced algorithms and image processing make a difference. This difference isn't groundbreaking, but it's certainly welcome. However, algorithms are only part of the equation, as the iPhone 15 Pro now shoots 24 megapixel photos by default. And that's a significant change. The photos it produces are more detailed, have less noise, and overall look much better. The colors, shadows, highlights, and other elements have also improved. Photos taken in daylight and well-lit conditions are noticeably better. What's especially interesting is that the size of these 24 megapixel photos is only about 50% larger than the 12 megapixel photos on the 14 Pro. New algorithms at work, gentlemen. Additionally, the 15 Pro can capture 48 megapixel HEIF photos, or should I say HEIF?
They pronounced HEIF.
Users can now shoot in 48 megapixel HEIF.
These aren't RAW photos, but their quality is comparable to Pro RAW photos. The main difference is that they offer slightly less editing headroom and are much smaller in size. What's most surprising is how Apple managed to extract even more from the same camera hardware while using less storage space. The cameras on iPhone 15 Pro now also capture depth information, all within that compact file size. This means I can forget about switching to portrait mode and simply take standard photos, because I know that I can always turn those photos into portraits in a few clicks. This is a super cool addition that I'm really happy to have. I think it's also worth mentioning that low light photos, low light performance has improved too. This is not the level of difference we had when the night mode was first introduced, but even when compared to photos taken on the 14 Pro, the photos from the 15 Pro have better colors, more details, less noise, and even slightly less flaring. The flaring issue is not gone by any means, but it is slightly better. As for the ultra-wide and zoom cameras, like I said, they are exactly the same as in the 14 Pro. For these cameras, there are no substantial improvements since the sensors are still 12 megapixels. Yes, the photos are a bit less noisy, have slightly better colors, and improved HDR processing, but if I put two photos side by side, you might not spot the difference between the 14 Pro and 15 Pro. The only case where you'll really see a difference is in low light. In these conditions, the ultra-wide and zoom cameras on the 15 Pro show less noise and more accurate colors. What's really changed noticeably is video capabilities, not the resolution or frame rate though. iPhone 15 Pro now lets you record videos in log and ACES. Log, like you may expect, is the one to go for in my case. It preserves a ton of details and allows for deep color grading. I'm sure all those presets from your favorite video makers will look great here. As for the quality of standard videos, the iPhone 15 Pro handles highlights better, has slightly improved HDR, and the faces in videos seem less flat. Another significant feature of the 15 Pro's camera is the ability to record videos directly to external drives. This is a fantastic addition that will surely benefit filmmakers. While it might not revolutionize my day-to-day usage, for testing purposes, it's a game changer. The reason why this is possible is because of the Type-C port. The port itself is great. We've had it on MacBooks for many years now. What is really interesting to me is how Apple decided to use it. During the event, Apple showed that the iPhone now can be used as a power bank to charge AirPods. And after some testing, I can confirm that it is true. The 15 Pro does charge everything that requires charging and plugs in via the Type-C port. For example, I can plug in the Type-C to Lightning cable and charge my iPhone 14 Pro. This is a really nice feature to have. Oh, and the Type-C cable in the box is now braided. It is much less prone to tangling and feels more robust. I'm not sure I like the white color though. To me, it feels a bit impractical. We all know how fabric absorbs all dirt and grime. I'm sure after a few weeks of using this cable, it will get dirty and gross. Another thing that I've noticed so far is that the performance difference isn't really that noticeable, at least in everyday tasks. I did not have enough time to install heavy apps or games, but on the level of system and most common apps, I see see absolutely no difference between 15 Pro and 14 Pro. Apps launch super fast in both, all animations are extremely fluid, but I'm already preparing the more in-depth testing, so stay tuned for that. Oh, and I almost forgot, the battery life. From those days that I'm using it, I can clearly say that the battery life is exactly the same as it was in the 14 Pro when it was new. I just hope that the 15 Pro won't have the same battery issues as the 14 Pro, because the 14 Pro I used for a year has lost 12% of its battery health, but I think we'll see that in a few months. So how can you make a mistake while buying the iPhone 15 Pro? Well, buying the 15 Pro might be a mistake in itself, because if you're looking for something new and you have the iPhone 14 Pro, you will not find that much stuff here. Yes, you will get the titanium, the action button, and slim display bezels, but the camera system will remain mostly the same. To really feel what the real Pro iPhone is, you have to go for the 15 Pro Max. If you go for that phone, you will get all the same stuff, but better battery life and a 5x zoom camera, which is a huge deal. But of course, if you specifically want the 15 Pro and you right now have iPhone 11 or 12, you will not regret the purchase. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.
Remember that the only place that allows you to pay in installments with an initial payment of $60 is to be an American citizen and enter our sales center using the one link below. To know about this exclusive offer and to subscribe to our channel for the latest offers like this. First of all, let's talk about this latest launch and the exclusive features of the product.